Joining me now is Joel Shulman. He is the founder and CIO of ERShares, LLC. He's also a former World Bank consultant, knows Russia well. Joel, how big a hit is Russia's economy taking right now?
Well, it's taken a massive hit, but we've got to remember the sanctions have never been performed in a country this size before. We've also got to remember that in the case of Russia, 63% of their trade is in oil, and their biggest trading partner is China, which is being very supportive. We also have to remember that on January 6th, they essentially took over, helped in a similar situation with Kazakhstan, which was the 10th largest oil producer. So arguably, Russia has moved from third to first in terms of production with oil, if you combine that with Kazakhstan, and the oil prices have gone up. So they're going to be, and this is outside the sanctions. So the sanctions aren't hitting the oil, which is a primary revenue generator for them. But no question, sanctions have hurt.
And we should keep in mind that Russians right now it's almost impossible to convert your rubles into dollars, and that means that people overnight have lost about a quarter of their savings. So when you think of Putin's stability as a leader to stay in his position, the pushback from the people of Russia is mounting, no?
Right. No questions. It's significant. There are a lot of people also who receive income from the U.S. So, for example, in many cases, and there's a company, for example, by the name of EPAM, which does outsourcing to Eastern Europe, including Russia and so forth, many companies like this. And these people have been hit hard because, how are they going to get the transfers of funds and so forth? Some of these companies are being hit hard. And we've got to remember there's repercussions throughout the world. So companies that were trading, particularly the U.S. companies and other European companies that were trading with Russia are now going to be in a quandary. How are they going to make payments? So this has really created a tough problem for everyone.
Joel, very quickly, last question, but we hear a lot about the $650 billion they have in reserves and hard currency reserves, gold and stuff like that. Is it difficult to impossible for them to get a hold of that because of these sanctions, or can they still find ways of getting through to that?
No question. That $650 billion right now, from what I understand, is being frozen. Now, some of the oligarchs that they've targeted specifically, some of the rich ones, probably converted much of their money into crypto years ago. And by the way, these sanctions are encouraging a shift for many of our enemies, including North Korea, Iran, and now Russia, to convert to the digital Yuan, which has been working on trying to get transfers. So we're going to see alternatives kind of put in place. And so right now, the $650 billion being frozen is going to be a problem for these people to access. But we also got to keep an eye on alternatives being created, like the digital Yuan, and creating incentives for people to get away from SWIFT and the dollar going forward.
Joel Shulman, good to see you, Joel. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.